Good morning and welcome to Government House here in Canberra. My name is Gerard Martin and I'm the Secretary to the Council for the Order of Australia and the Secretary to the Australian Bravery Decorations Council. I wish to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as the traditional custodians of the land we are meeting on today and recognise any other people or families with connection to the lands of the ACT and the region. I acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the contribution they make to the life of this city and this region. And I would also like to acknowledge and welcome any other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. The Australian Honours System is an important mechanism to recognise and celebrate ordinary people who do extraordinary things. Today is a special day not only for recipients, but also for their families, their friends, and their communities. It is a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. We here at Government House are privileged to play a small part in the recognition and celebration of that achievement, and I hope we can make today an occasion that you will recall with pride for years to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand, if you're able, as the Governor-General enters the room. Please remain standing for the Australian National Anthem. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter the room from the doorway on my right, and once reading a biography of their service and they have been invested, they will leave by the centre aisle to take their seats at the back of the room. At this point, you may like to show each of them your appreciation with a short applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of Her Excellency the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated.
Well, good morning, everybody. As I acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Ngunnawal, and pay my respects to elders past and present and all other people or families with connections to the ACT and surrounding regions, I can't help but be so thrilled for you that we've pulled off the perfect Canberra spring day. So this will be a wonderful occasion, and we'll be celebrating out on the grounds afterwards in, I think, sunshine and a bit of warmth, which has not been the case for some of the earlier investitures this week. So I'm absolutely delighted that we have the perfect day to be celebrating you all. You are all very, very welcome here at Government House. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you here for this very special occasion. This is a place of warmth and welcome that belongs to all Australians. And on Investiture Days, Government House echoes with history, excellence, contribution, and optimism. A current of stories coming from decades and decades, lived and told by the people who shaped our nation in the image of their own energy. Today, we join our newest inductees' stories to theirs and anchor them to our hopes and ambitions for the future. Now, I was recently in this room with my family and friends to celebrate my own investiture prior to becoming your 28th Governor-General. So I do understand a little of what you are all feeling today. There should be great excitement, I'm presuming some nerves, pride in the remarkable achievements you're going to hear about, and gratitude to the families, communities, and colleagues who have always been there with you. And I know there will be a renewed sense of purpose to carry on your work and encourage others to make their contributions. Now, every year, about 25,000 school students visit us here at Government House. They come in busloads most days. Anytime they can't come is during investitures, because normally they would be sitting where you are to hear the story of our democracy, of Government House, and the role of the Governor-General. I try to run in here as much as I can if I'm in Canberra to meet those young people and children for myself and to let them see what a modern Governor-General does and looks like. The thing that they love most, though, when we're talking and we open up to questions and they ask the best unfiltered questions of all, what I love, though, is that when we welcome those young people to Government House, we have the Honours and Awards board up in front of them. You'll see that board that describes all of the honours of our system in the corridor as you leave this afternoon to head to our reception. But they're entranced by it, and they want to know a lot about the medals and honours. They want to know who gets them and how do they get them. And so we spend quite a bit of time talking about the fact that these are some of the most significant honours and awards in the Australian system, and that they go to very special people doing extraordinary things all over the country, from vastly different parts of the country and vastly different backgrounds. They always leave with some ambition to talk about that when they go home to their own communities, and I always encourage them to tell their families and friends to nominate and to make sure that people doing wonderful things in their communities make it here in this room one day to do as we're doing, investing great Australians with great honours. So I want you all to know that in addition to the immense privilege of investing our honorees today, I'm also terribly humbled and proud on behalf of all Australians. Before I took office, I took the opportunity to meet with all former Governor-Generals who are still living. And every one of them told me that Investiture days were some of the most memorable of their term. In fact, my predecessor, the former Governor-General David Hurley, liked to say, he'd say this: investitures are one of the greatest joys of this role. You cannot help but be uplifted. And having read about all of the accomplishments of those who we'll be hearing about today and those who have been part of ceremonies this week, I can tell you that I am more than uplifted. I'm filled with admiration and deep, deep respect for the work that so many Australians do around the country, but particularly those that we are honouring today. And this day has been long in the planning. For those who are here to receive an honour for themselves or on behalf of others, it has been a lifetime in the making. And for our nation, it is a day foreshadowed by 65,000 years of Indigenous culture, shared so generously by the oldest continuing living culture in the world, but also with our British institutions of law and democracy and the vibrant, successful, multicultural society that today we celebrate as modern Australia. It really is a very special day to remember. Now, it's said that an honours and awards system is only as good as the people it recognises. And I can say with great confidence that our Australian system is the very best in the world. And I know that because of the people that we are investing with honours today. Your dedication to serving your communities and our nation is essential to the optimism, confidence and pride of all Australians as we continue to build our remarkable nation's future together. From the most extraordinary array of disciplines, contributions, backgrounds and excellence, you all exemplify the depth of Australian values. And at this time of the year, investiture ceremonies just like this are taking place right across the country. In every capital city, in every government house, remarkable Australians like you are gathering to be recognised for outstanding service or exceptional achievement. And whilst every recipient's accomplishment is as unique as their stories and their own character, you are united by your qualities of kindness, care, respect and generosity that sit at the heart of everything you do. You care for people and communities. You care for excellence, discovery, creativity and ingenuity. You care for our institutions and our stunningly beautiful continent and our natural environment. And you care for the diversity in all its forms and the possibilities that rest with a deep commitment to inclusion and belonging for our great nation. I know that the joy and optimism that I feel in your company today is shared across Australia, and particularly in the communities and organisations and families that you represent. Now, I hope all of you, those of you who are here to be invested, those who are receiving awards posthumously, and we must treat that with great respect today. And the family and friends who are here to witness this ceremony are also uplifted and inspired, and so very, very proud. But I also want to let you all know that there are some honours and awards that we'll make today that come from circumstances and tragedies that no Australian should have to endure. And these will be deeply emotional moments. For those of you who may feel upset or touched by that, we're here to take care of you. But there are very emotional moments today. There's very, very big highs today, but very, very delicate and sensitive matters that we often deal with here at Government House in the Bravery and Honours Awards. So I want to let you know that, particularly for the young children who might be here. And it's wonderful to see so many young children here. It makes this ceremony even more special to know that a future generation knows what great Australians look like, and to meet those who've been through so much and given so much to our country. Congratulations to everybody, those who will shortly receive their honours and those of you who have supported them your entire lives. I look forward to spending time with all of you in the reception afterwards, but now we'd like to induct our honorees.
Your Excellency, to be appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Professor Karen Canfell. For eminent service to medicine as an epidemiologist, particularly through cancer research, to tertiary education, and as a mentor and leader. Professor Karen Canfell is an influential cancer researcher and epidemiologist who has pioneered new strategies for cancer control, both in Australia and internationally. She is the inaugural director of the Daffodil Centre and a professor in the Faculty of Medicine and Health at the University of Sydney. She was previously Director of Research at the Cancer Council, New South Wales. Her work has informed the World Health Organisation's strategy for eliminating cervical cancer and helped to position Australia to be the first country to achieve that goal. Her team's research also extends to areas including cancer prevention and early detection. Professor Canfell's devotion to community service is extraordinary. Her leadership and mentorship across a broad range of research has been transformative and life-saving. Her work has the potential to save millions of lives. Professor Karen Canfell, appointed a Companion of the Order. To be appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia in the General Division, the late, the Honourable Simon Crean, to be accepted by Mrs. Carol Crean. For eminent service to the people in Parliament of Australia, to tertiary education, to business and to industrial relations. Mr. Crean was an outstanding Australian who was a leading figure in government politics and industrial relations for over 50 years. He represented the seat of Hotham from 1990 to 2013 and was a cabinet minister in the Hawke, Keating, Rudd and Gillard governments. He was leader of the Australian Labor Party from 2001 to 2003 and deputy leader for the 3 years prior to that. Mr. Crean was president of the Australian Council of Trade Unions from 1985 to 1990 during an important and pivotal time. During his career, Mr. Crean was instrumental in proposing, starting and closing discussions on free trade agreements with lasting impact on the Australian economy and our international trade. He was also Deputy Chancellor at Monash University from 2020. Across his many fields of service, Mr. Crean's long and outstanding record and sustained commitment to Australia's national interests had a remarkable impact. The late, the Honourable Simon Crean, appointed a Companion of the Order, accepted by Mrs. Carol Crean. To be appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia in the General Division, the Honourable Mark McGowan. For eminent service to the people and the Parliament of Western Australia, to public health and education, and to international trade relations. Mr. McGowan devoted many years of service to the community of Western Australia. He was the 30th Premier of Western Australia from 2017 until 2023 and served as the member for Rockingham for 27 years. He has been a member of the Australian Labor Party since 1984. As Premier, Mr. McGowan was responsible for major infrastructure projects, the banning of native forest logging, and the state's response to a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. Mr. McGowan's success and popularity was influenced by a formidable capacity to administer the state's affairs in a way that won the trust of his community. Mr. McGowan is a person of great conviction whose definition of success has always been the ability to improve lives and change the community for the better. The Honourable Mark McGowan appointed a Companion of the Order. To be appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Sir Jonathan Mills. For eminent service to international cultural leadership and diplomacy, to the performing arts, to philanthropic ventures, and to tertiary education. Sir Jonathan's impact as a festival director, both in Australia and internationally, has led to the transformation of international arts celebrations into global forums for cultural diplomacy. Sir Jonathan was formerly the Chief Executive and Festival Director of the Edinburgh International Festival and has been Artistic Director of festivals in Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne, including the Melbourne International Arts Festival. He has been the artistic advisor and curator of many arts centres, orchestras and operas internationally, and has himself composed songs, operas, and with some of those touring globally. Sir Jonathan is an artistic and cultural leader in Australia and internationally. He is an outstanding advocate for the arts and Australia's place on the global stage. Sir Jonathan Mills appointed a Companion of the Order. To be appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia in the Military Division, Major General Anthony Rawlins. For distinguished service in responsible positions as the Deputy Chief of Army and Head Force Design Division. Major General Rawlins' distinguished leadership in successive senior appointments has contributed directly to Defence's capability and effectiveness during a period of significant change. In 2019, he was appointed Deputy Chief of Army. His leadership and professional credibility were critical to maintaining effective land combat capability through the unique challenges of COVID-19, including extraordinary demand to support domestic operations. In 2022, Major General Rawlins commenced as Head of Force Design, where his drive and understanding were critical to building the future of defence capability, leading to widespread and lasting improvements. Through his distinguished foresight and strategic understanding, he has delivered and maintained a joint force that is capable, agile, and effective in achieving the strategic defence objectives directed by the Government of Australia. Major General Anthony Rawlins, appointed an Officer of the Order. To be appointed a member of the Order of Australia in the Military Division, Brigadier James Davis. For exceptional service supporting the future design and employment of the Australian Defence Force as Commanding Officer of the 2nd Cavalry Regiment, Director, Chief of Army's Initiatives Group, Director, Joint Futures and Concepts, and Director, General Future Land Warfare. As Director, Joint Futures and Concepts, Brigadier Davis delivered the Australian Defence Force Theatre Concept, Concept Aspire, and the Joint Concepts Framework. His ability to understand and articulate the use of military power to advance Australia's security and prosperity, combined with his leadership, problem-solving skills, and strategic foresight, has enhanced Defence's ability to respond in an increasingly complex operating environment. As Director General, Future Land Warfare, he led Australia's response to Defence's strategic review. His understanding of future concepts to inform Defence's responses to new objectives set by the government has set the foundation for the future of the Australian Army. Brigadier James Davis, appointed a member of the Order. To be awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Miss Suzanne Bulger. For service to the community of Tumut. Wiradjuri woman Suzanne Bulger is a strong leader and role model for the Aboriginal community and the community as a whole. Ms Bulger is CEO of Brungle Tumut Local Aboriginal Land Council and a board member of the Recognition in Anthem project. In 2016, she became the first Indigenous Mayor of Tumut Shire Council. Prior to those positions, Ms Bulger spent years as a teacher in Canberra, Cootamundra, Burrawa, Gundagai and Tumut. Ms Bulger is an outstanding advocate and member of the community, working tirelessly to support others in every aspect of her life. Ms Suzanne Bulger awarded the Medal of the Order. To be awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Mr Kevin Hughes. For service to the community through a range of organisations, Mr Hughes has dedicated much of his life to the country, ensuring it is kept at its finest for future generations. He founded Engaged Species Supporters for Australia and has been a volunteer firefighter for nearly 4 decades, in Kangaroo Island during the devastating 2019-20 fires and in Queensland since the 1980s. Previously a pilot in the Royal Australian Air Force, Mr. Hughes is also a fierce advocate and volunteer with the Department of Veterans Affairs, as well as being Community Ambassador for the Bravery Trust. Mr. Hughes is always willing to go the extra distance to help others. Mr. Kevin Hughes awarded the Medal of the Order. To be awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Ms. Peggy MacDonald, for service to conservation and the environment. Ms. MacDonald has given long, outstanding and unwavering support to the rehabilitation and conservation of Australian wildlife. She's the founding member of Australian Raptor Care and Conservation. She has been instrumental in advancing raptor care in Australia through local, national and global professional networks in research, veterinary care and government. The Higher Ground Raptor Centre she created in 2016 is a world-class rehabilitation facility in the Southern Highlands, which houses the largest free flight round aviary in the Southern Hemisphere. Ms. MacDonald's passion and commitment to the rehabilitation of these magnificent birds of prey is very significant and to be commended. Ms. Peggy MacDonald awarded the Medal of the Order. To be awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Kai Noonan, for service to the LGBTQI community and to the domestic and family wellbeing sector. Kai Noonan has long been a leader in raising awareness and improving responses to sexual, family and intimate partner violence across LGBTIQA+ communities. They are Director of Sexual, Domestic and Family Violence Prevention within the LGBTIQ+ Health Australia and Director of Client Operations at the Women and Girls Emergency Centre. Kai Noonan is also a member of the National Women's Safety Alliance and previously a member of 1-800-RESPECT and a manager of the Sexual, Domestic and Family Violence Project at Acon Health. As an advocate, Kai Noonan is highly respected in the sector for their activism, ability to form partnerships and support change. Kai Noonan awarded the Medal of the Order. To be awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Ms. Catherine Mary Ringstead, for service to the community through social welfare roles. Ms. Ringstead is widely respected as a trailblazer in the provision and promotion of pastoral and spiritual care. As a Director, Pastoral Carer and Chair of the Palliative and End-of-Life Care Committee at Calvary Mater Hospital in Newcastle, Ms Ringstad is passionate about her work and has educated community volunteer palliative care support groups throughout the region. Ms Ringstad is instrumental in the ongoing professionalisation, promotion and integration of pastoral and spiritual care within the broad hospital professional community. She brings her years of experience, fierce intelligence, compassion and love of people to everything she does. Ms Catherine Mary Ringstad, awarded the Medal of the Order. To be awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the Military Division, Chief Petty Officer William Carter. For performance of duty in the field of Navy aviation engineering and operational deployment support. Chief Petty Officer Carter's consistent contribution through leadership, knowledge and dedication has positively influenced the technical and operational support of Navy aviation. His efforts have earned him the respect of sailors, peers and command. Promoted to Chief Petty Officer in March 2018, he has been recognised throughout his career with multiple commendations and awards for his exceptional service. Through exemplary technical mastery, Chief Petty Officer Carter has optimised operational aircraft availability, while his leadership and mentoring provided a long-term benefit to Navy, particularly the Fleet Air Arm. His professionalism epitomises defence values and signature behaviours, and his efforts have earned him the respect of his sailors, peers and command. Chief Petty Officer William Carter, awarded the Medal of the Order. To be awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Captain Sean Andrews. For outstanding achievement as the Commander, Headquarters, Middle East Operation Accordion from September 2022 to June 2023. Through Captain Andrews' command of Australian Defence Force personnel deployed on Operation Accordion, he rendered outstanding support to Australian Defence Force's ambition to cement the UAE as its global mobility hub. His deep cultural understanding and adept engagement with key leaders helped promote Australia's national interest, ensuring Australia will have access to purpose-built command and control-based facilities. Captain Andrews' performance as the Commander of Headquarters Middle East enhanced the overall military contribution and international reputation of the Australian Defence Force. His actions have brought great credit upon himself and are in the finest traditions of the Australian Defence Force. Captain Sean Andrews, awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. To be awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Squadron Leader Lindy Perrett, for meritorious achievement in the management of C-27J Spartan flying operations and future planning for the Royal Australian Air Force. Squadron Leader Perrett applied strategic vision, remarkable initiative, and a sustained drive for continuous improvement in the development of C-27J Spartan operational capability. She is responsible for efficiencies through highly effective coordinated mission planning and programming integrated with long-term planning. Squadron Leader Perrett integrated numerous data sources into a single unit-level planning tool. This informed operational mission programming and optimized training events to proactively achieve currency iterations in advance of deadlines. Her meritorious achievements have significantly strengthened C-27J Spartan capability to respond to operational tasking in support of defence and national objectives. Squadron Leader Lindy Perrett awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. To be awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms. Susan Bodell, for outstanding public service, contribution and achievement to Australia's interests in the Indo-Pacific region. Ms. Bodell was the inaugural Assistant Secretary of the Indo-Pacific branch of the Department of Defence. Responsible for Defence's input into whole-of-government strategy for the Indo-Pacific, Ms. Bodell successfully oversaw the development and implementation of new policy proposals aligned with the Step Up initiative. Ms. Bodell's achievements include the successful construction of the Fijian Black Rock Peacekeeping Training Centre, Solomon Islands border outposts, and the Lombrum Naval Base in Papua New Guinea. Her outstanding work and support to others made a significant contribution to Australia's strategic policy goal to safeguard the rules-based international order and Australia's status as a regional leader. Ms. Susan Bodell awarded the Public Service Medal. To be awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms. Tamara Curl, for outstanding public service to the Australian Government and the public through her sustained contribution to Australian action on climate change. In 2022 and 23, Ms. Curl led the successful delivery of Australia's first greenhouse gas inventory to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This achievement meant in April 2023, Australia became the first country in the world to deliver national inventory consistent with Paris Agreement architecture. Ms. Curl has been recognised across government and internationally for her tireless work on climate change. She has demonstrated outstanding commitment to ensuring Australia's compliance with international climate change treaty obligations. As an inspiring leader, Ms. Curl is an exemplary public servant, displaying dedication and loyalty to the principles of ethical public service. Ms. Tamara Curl awarded the Public Service Medal. To be awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms. Rachel Moore, for outstanding public service in leading Australia's humanitarian, reconstruction and consular response as High Commissioner to the Kingdom of Tonga. Ms. Moore managed a complex humanitarian crisis in response to the Tonga Ha'apai volcanic eruption, which resulted in a tsunami of up to 18 metres on 15 January 2022. She oversaw the evacuation of all Australian personnel and their families to higher ground, ensuring the safety and welfare of all her staff. Supporting Tonga to maintain communications with the outside world when all other international communication channels were down, Ms. Moore coordinated delivery of over 360 tonnes of equipment and disaster relief supplies. Ms. Moore's leadership, diplomatic and personal aptitude were crucial in addressing a devastating natural disaster. Ms. Rachel Moore awarded the Public Service Medal. To be awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms. Chantel Stratford, for outstanding public service in leadership and innovation in gender equality and women's policy within the Australian Government. Ms. Stratford has been the driving force behind a range of significant national policy and reforms in gender equality and women's safety. This includes work under the National Plan to Reduce Violence Against Women and Children, the Women's Safety Ministerial Council, COVID-19 family violence responses, and the 1-800 RESPECT National Domestic Violence Service. She has also served as the Global Chair of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Policy Partnership on Women and the Economy, and has advocated for women's rights at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women and the OECD Gender Budgeting Network. Ms. Stratford has gone above and beyond to improve women's empowerment. Ms. Chantel Stratford awarded the Public Service Medal. To be awarded the Emergency Service Medal, Mr. Andrew Edmonds, for distinguished service as a member of an Australian emergency service. Mr. Edmonds has demonstrated superior dedication and commitment to Surf Lifesaving New South Wales and its patrols and emergency services during his 23 years of service. As State Deputy Officer, he coordinates major emergency service incidents on the New South Wales coast. At a branch level, he coordinates support operations, management of incidents, rescue craft operations, incident debriefings, and post-incident support. Mr. Edmonds is the lead rescuer and first responder in a range of offshore incidents along the far south coast and coordinates the Browley on-call duty team. As a volunteer, Mr. Edmonds dedicates well over 35 hours a week on surf lifesaving duties in his role as a club secretary, patrol captain, emergency services management and state duty officer. And he's also on call 24/7 for search and rescue incidents. Mr. Andrew Edmonds awarded the Emergency Service Medal. To be awarded the Commendation for Brave Conduct and Group Bravery Citation, Mr. Stephen Apthorpe. Commended for brave conduct for his actions after two rafts collided on a water ride at Dreamworld on the Gold Coast, Queensland, on 25 October 2016. In the early afternoon, Mr. Apthorpe was on the Thunder River Rapids ride with his family when their raft became stuck on the conveyor belt due to a mechanical fault. Mr. Apthorpe helped his family and other riders out of their respective rafts as the incident unfolded, including going back into the water and attempting CPR on a number of people. Mr. Apthorpe was pivotal in moving both his own family and people he did not know to a safer space, doing everything he could in the face of a difficult and unfolding circumstance. Mr. Stephen Apthorpe awarded the Commendation for Brave Conduct and Group Bravery Citation. To be awarded the Commendation for Brave Conduct, the late Mr. Luke Dorset, to be accepted by his mother, Ms. Kim Dorset. Commended for brave conduct for his actions after two rafts collided on a water ride at a theme park on the Gold Coast, Queensland, on 25 October 2016. In the early afternoon of the 25th of October 2016, Mr. Luke Dorset was on the Thunder Rapids ride at Dreamworld when the raft he was in collided with another and upturned. There, with members of his family, Mr. Dorset immediately placed an arm around his niece to stop her from falling from the raft. Sadly, Mr. Dorset fell from the raft himself and tragically died at the scene. Mr. Dorset's quick thinking, selflessness, and bravery saved the life of his young niece. The late Mr. Luke Dorset awarded the Commendation of Brave Conduct and accepted by Ms. Kim Dorset. That concludes the presentations this afternoon. I now invite the recipients to join Her Excellency for a formal photograph at the state entrance. And then a few moments after that, everyone else is welcome to move out through the dining room to the lakeside lawn. Please note our photographer will be capturing a photograph with each of the recipients, their guests and the Governor-General during the reception today. For those who need to leave early, please let a member of our staff know. For any recipient who has not had their group photo taken in the last 20 minutes, the Governor-General will move into position so we can ensure that everyone gets a group photo. And finally, please don't forget to collect your insignia warrants before departing today. Can I ask that you please now stand for the departure of Her Excellency and the recipients?